Welcome. Episode 189. I don't remember which weeks I was here and I wasn't here, but I'm here for 189. Evan's not here tonight. That's big deal. He's been here every week for years, I feel like. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. But now's the night we get to talk about him because he can't say anything. What's up, dudes? Nick, you're here. Josh, Ben's here. We just had the Copenhagen Open happen. Beautiful weather up in my neck of the woods. Nick's been having it for a long time. But before we get into anything, Disc Golf 978 presents this episode. Whoa. For a second, I was like 189 is our episode. Whenever we hit 978, that'd be a long time.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we've got a while to go.
Okay, sorry. I just was like saying all these numbers. 189, episode 9. Anyways, disc golf.
That's in like 40 years we would hit that.
Do the quick math. But disc golf 9. We'll do a special episode. We'll give them that one for free. How about that? No,
How about that?
We love disc golf 978. Always putting smiles on our face, even when we talk about them like this. You need to order your stuff through them, and I say stuff because they have a lot of it. Disc Golf 978 is going to do free shipping over $25. That's pretty much any purchase you do. Pretty much anything disc golf related. So order up, get it free. That feels really good to me. I really don't like checking out and having a shipping fee added on there. And I'm not like saying people who do it are bad people, but as a customer, I don't love that. And so I really appreciate 978. And as I always say, you're going to get a 25, I hope that number is right. That's pretty good. 25% discount as a TD if you order player packs and do payouts through them. And I've already told you how amazing it is because you get accounts for each of your players. They get accounts that you get to like track and just build up. If you use them over time, people can bank money. I've bought full-blown 28 chain Innova baskets, which Nick will say was bad choice, but like it was an awesome basket and a cool choice to be able to do with all of my really like player pack money and entry, like winning stuff. So anyways, Disc Golf 978, awesome. We talk about them all the time and we mean it. If you use the code WeLove978, you'll let them know that you heard through us, and it will also get you a little percentage off, which at rock bottom prices, that's even a little more. So there you go. All right, I just did a lot of talking, but I'll get your feedback on some of this here by raise of hands, and I say that because I've been training virtually all day. If you didn't know what I do sometimes for work, sometimes I do training virtually. So I say by raise of hands, but how many of you watched Copenhagen Open, any portion of it? Anybody?
Very little.
Oh yeah, by raise of hands. Sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot. Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah, I did.
It's a
I mean,
podcast.
the time was certainly different, and my interest in the event was definitely like medium to high, like I wanted to, but I didn't wake up at the crack of dawn to see every single hole.
Yeah.
Towards the end though, like Sunday morning, right? That's when it finished. Losing track.
It
of
was
days.
Sunday.
Anyway, yeah, like that day I was like up nice and early and it was like perfect. I'm like, sweet, I can turn on the FPO. Like I rolled out of bed like that. So anyway,
It was crazy.
Long answer to your question.
That was crazy.
I did watch some.
You guys texted at like, I don't know if it was Nick. I'm like, Nick's an
It was
early
pretty
riser
savage,
now.
yeah.
He's a course manager. But
I
like,
was up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and I remember texting something to you guys, and I was like, oh yeah, wait, hold on.
no, but
I think
it's funny.
some of us replied. I was
Yeah,
like,
well, all of
man.
a sudden we're all chatting before 7 a.m. Except I was gonna say
Watching
something
disc
like
golf.
Ben's snoring it up over there. I was like,
Yeah.
he's not gonna see this for a few hours.
You should have. I was camping at Westy Acres.
Oh.
So I actually probably was up at 4 a.m. Freezing my bones off, but then I fell back asleep and woke up later.
So anyways, there was stuff to talk about that early, which is kind of fun. And in this case, it was Evelina Salonen in a playoff that early. Not quite a playoff. It's getting exciting. Nick says it's getting exciting. We turn it on. So let me just recap because Evan was so nice to give us a recap. So here's the deal. Copenhagen Open, it's the capital and largest city in Denmark. It has a 2.1 million metro population. Event counts to both, so this counts for both Disc Golf Pro Tour World Standings and Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe Standings. And as I just mentioned, Evelina Salonen wins in a 2-hole playoff, 2 Elite Series, and 1 major win this season. Is that sounding super impressive to anybody yet. She did it, as I mentioned, in a playoff against, and I put the name up here. Let me just double check because I don't. Kaidi Al-Salou. And I just said that with a pure American English accent. But Kaidi, it was amazing. I watched it. Evelina, circle 2. She was putting fantastic the whole round, but circle 2, put it in from, looked like, 40 feet or so out to win it. And it was impressive if you watched it all or at least looked back at it. 9-stroke deficit. She had, after 5 holes in the first round, or in the last round, she made up a 9-stroke deficit. Josh, what are your comments on Evelina taking down what is her 3rd win this season? And again, 2 elites and 1 major. What do you think about Evelina?
Yeah, so I mean, I will react very specifically to the Evelina question, but first, just like you're trying to read off the name, and I think you nailed it. But all I can hear is the accent of the live broadcasters, which I loved, and maybe we'll talk about that later. But like I hear them saying the names, and I'm like, oh, that's how they should sound. And just even their excitement, they're like, "Can Evelina do it?" Yeah. And then we see the putt, and it's like, "Yes, she can."
Oh, I love it. And spoiler alert, we actually have ESA, one of the commentators, on the show tonight to tell us how to pronounce the names. Literally, ESA, he was the shot caller, not the color. I think on screen, if you're thinking left and right, he was on the left. But
so
yeah,
like, yes.
It's going to be
so
incredible.
Like, Evelina can do it. She has done it. But anyway, you asked about Evelina.
They're so much better.
Yeah, and I will just say, I mean, it's an incredible season. I mean, Evelina still seems to have some of the weaknesses that we've come to know over the last couple of years, but she has, smoothed out enough of those valleys. And in this case, it was weird because not an incredibly strong putting tournament, but holy cow, when it mattered, 2 circle 2 putts down the end. And if you haven't seen it, you got to go back and watch it because the eagle putt was not an easy putt. And it barely got in, but that's all that matters. And then a chance to win it with another circle 2 putt. So anyway, yeah, I mean, that's an incredible year already. Like, did anybody see that coming? People understood Evelina's ceiling was high, but I don't know if anybody would have picked her to already be where she's at. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I've said it multiple times this year. Evelina is so good at throwing the disc. Backhand, forehanding, she's one of the best. She's very, very close to like Kristen Tatar level. If anything, Evelina actually does have more power. So put her on a little bit bigger of a course and she rips the disc. We've always said it. Her putting has been her weak point. And when she does make those putts, though, now we've seen her win, the 2 Elite Series in the majors. So it's clicking for her. It's getting there.
Absolutely. Ben, feel free to comment. Evelina?
Yeah, I think that a few years ago we were all saying that Evelina was number 1 in the world, Henna was number 2 before they came over, and the hype was real. I remember it was when I was first getting into disc golf, not really knowing who they were, and they didn't really live up to the expectations until now. It's honestly really refreshing and incredible to see that Evelina and Henna are starting to become the top like we expect them to be. Like when I expected them to come over, people were saying that it was like 1 and 2, Evelina, Henna, and then like Paige or something like that. I don't even know if there was talks of Kristen. So it's kind of crazy to see the landscape now, but it's also awesome to see she's coming into her own, getting more comfortable and taking down.
I'd push back on a little bit of your take, and we can do that here on the show.
Go ahead. Staggered.
Henna's not there yet. So Henna's the same player she's been for 3 or 4 or 5 years. She is incredible. She is incredible. But I don't think she has arrived. It'd go the other way, Ben.
Oh.
I'm helping him with his green screen. She has not arrived in the sense of what we think she could do. I'm not downplaying how good she is.
She obviously has way more potential. I'm just saying, like,
she hasn't won yet.
I know, but I think we're seeing her finish more at the top, whereas at first it was like they were just like they were nowhere to be found for a while, in my opinion.
No, it's good. That's good. I just had to do that for the staggered stance of it all.
No, I like it.
All right, Nick. Okay, here we go. Just so you guys know, I pre-recorded the interview with ESA because they have such a time difference. So I know now that I'm saying these names incorrectly, but I'm trying my best. Jesse Nieminen. I just want to be like Jesse Nieminen, but that's so American. So first career Elite Series win. First career. That's big. He's won 2 PDGA Euro Tour and 1 European Pro Tour previously. They were A tiers. This is his first win outside of Finland, so this is big for him. He did it in pretty commanding fashion. I'll give you second place here, Niklas Antila. I probably messed that one up too. Second, tied for second. He's third in the Disc Golf Pro Tour points. And this event does count for the Disc Golf Pro Tour world standing. So this is mattering in a sense of how they are viewed publicly, point standings, ranking standings, all of that. That's pretty good for him. All Finnish podium and MPO. So as far as this goes, all Finnish. That's pretty incredible there. And now this name, Eetu. Oh, maybe I learned something. Eetu Tuominen.
That sounds good.
Finished tied second with Antila. So there you go. What do you think, anybody here? We'll round the horn a little bit here before we get our interviews in later. But Jesse Nieminen and Niklas Antila, they both showed up. There was a decent field there. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a huge win, getting your first Elite Series win. So for Jesse to kind of capitalize it and win it going towards the end, I know there's a lot of great players who were multiple holes ahead of him and finished at a very, very solid score. And so he had to kind of keep pace with them while knowing kind of what their scores were at the end of the round. He's able to do it. It's funny because the style and play from European players is significantly different, I think, than the style and play from a lot of the American players that we see. So it is really cool to actually watch the two different styles kind of come together. And we saw Paul Uliberry make an incredible, lead car appearance a couple times. And so you can kind of see just the two different play styles, putting styles, throwing styles, everything like that. But yeah, it was great to see Jesse finish it out.
Wait till you hear from ESA, Nick, how we Americanize these names like crazy. I said Jesse too, so but it's not Jesse. You just wait. It's pretty fun. It's a whole segment.
Is it Jesse? Can you just tell me what it is? So
I wanted to say Jesse.
Is it Jesse?
No, he's like, and I can kind of save it, but ultimately he's like, why do you guys change it so the E in the first part, like Jesse, right? And then you say E at the end. He's like, you say there, and then you say E there. And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, keep the same S sound. No, he says, keep the same S sound. So he's like, yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes,
Yes, sir.
And then I forget the rest of it. But anyways.
Neminen.
Yeah. Not quite. Wait till you hear him. It's excellent. Okay. So
I feel so bad. I just want to say that
no, he's proud
I'm not
of us.
trying to purposely butcher it.
He's proud
I'm not one of those people who can speak multiple languages. And so my apologies. I'm very ignorant in that, and I should be better about it.
No. This segment will go viral over there in Europe, I'm sure, because wait till you see how many names I put up on screen for him. I tried. I made a fool of myself, but he said in closing, and I'll let him say it better than me, but he said in closing, like, they're very grateful that we're even talking about it and we're trying to say their names correctly. So they love it.
Yeah. I will just admit, I'm not quite sure what I think at the core of like the field we saw like at the event with all the Europeans and the Finns, just because like I'm not as familiar, even though I recognized a decent handful of names because we've seen them kind of show up at various places, but we've been hearing so much about the growth of the sport around the world. And so like, I do think at the core, like I was excited to see what's happening there, even though I don't know if we feel like we have a perfect benchmark, but like, I think like at the core that we're going to continue to see incredible growth coming out of that. And like I heard another interview, and I'd have to remember where I heard it. Maybe it was on DGN or something, but just how I think there's a lot of players there who are probably even better than we assume, but just have for various reasons not been able to venture out, right? It's a big deal to leave your country and travel around the world. And so starting to have events there, and this is the first, right, this year of kind of this stretch, but I don't know, I'm excited to see how it fills things out as these players start to get a feel for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, like maybe more travel happens, and we've seen the growth here. Imagine like the growth there, and they'll probably pass us before we know it.
I think for the future of these events, I think we're going to see more American players actually head over there to secure their first DGPT Elite Series win. I mean, we saw Yuli. He was in second place out of the second round. I'm not entirely sure the full
fourth.
Yeah, finished fourth. So he could have got away with his first Elite Series win.
Got away with it.
In 13 years. He has Elite Series wins prior, but it would have been his first in like 13
just not
years.
a pro. He's not a pro tour.
Yeah, that's
Not
what
a pro tour,
that's what I
but
mean.
he's-
I understand he has like national. That's what I mean in the new. But yeah, I think it's gonna be very much more popular because it's you can't take it away from Yesy. He's an Elite Series winner.
I know exactly what you're saying, Ben, and that was my hesitation at the beginning. Say I'm not sure about the field. However, I'm also not sure that those will be easy wins.
No.
I mean that's not. You didn't say the word easy wins, I don't think, but like it felt like maybe, hey, if I'm US, I can go over there and try to pick one. That may be much harder than it used to be because you're going to show up and they're like on their quote unquote home turf, and they're just as good. I mean, I guess that statement is more of a question, but I
asked
think it's
Essa
possible
about that.
that'll
I
be
asked
true.
Essa about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you remember, 4 years ago, if you were to take Paul Macbeth and put him on an 8-week road trip in Europe like he did last year, 4 years ago, Paul probably wins every single one of those events. And then realistically, how many did Paul win last year? Was it 2 of them? And I think one of them being
He won
an Elite Series
PCS,
event.
right? Was it?
He won the PCS Open, but then I thought he won one more.
He did win another one,
But it was
and
like
then
on a
came
smaller,
in second to like
smaller
Bradley
caliber.
Williams.
Yeah,
which
exactly. So like we don't see kind of that American dominance now. If we were to take every single American player, would it be different? You can look at it like European Open every single year. We've had Eagle, Corey Ellis, Paul Macbeth winning it obviously for a number of years in a row. So if you take our whole American field, it'll get spread out a little bit more, but we are starting to step on their home turf where a lot of European MPO players are stepping up and taking big victories. And it's classified as a Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series event. You can't take it away. He's an Elite Series winner now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's probably some mixed opinions on whether they feel like the field justifies elite, but I love it. Like this is how you expand and grow. You actually have to set the benchmark so that people pursue it. If you try to reverse engineer that, it's much harder and a longer road. It's kind of like let's say this is the event the Pro Tour wants to be Elite Series. Go get your points. If you want it, go get it.
You could make a bid and then pony up $50,000 and make an Elite Series event. You could do it in Auburn, Massachusetts. You put up a course, put up $50,000. If you want to do an Elite Plus event, put up $75,000, and you can host an Elite Series event. Now, who goes after that event is all dependent. Obviously, we are going to see, we're American players. We mainly follow along the American Disc Golf Pro Tour, the U.S. Pro Tour, and now that it is branching out to the European scene, but it's still not. It's not like it's cheap for American players to go overseas to Europe. It's not cheap for European players to come over to America. But they did what they had to do to get the title of being an Elite Series event. And yeah, I mean, shoot, if you were to tell me that I could go win my first Elite Series event, all I had to do was travel out to like Scandinavia or something, I'd give it a go. And I'd be able to tell my grandkids, yeah, I won an Elite Series event. They're not going to care who was in the field. I would get to say that I did that.
No, in the field wasn't like, and to
No,
be
the field was
honest,
tough. Yeah.
well, I was going to say, and to be honest, we don't know enough about all those players. This is kind of Josh's point. So let's
That's what I'm saying.
let's
That's
push this-
exactly
let's
it. I'm
push
like,
this-
we should not discount the field. If
Yeah,
they
we
all
just don't
showed up
know.
here.
Yeah.
If they all showed up here, they may
They're all
give,
better than us.
I actually asked the
and better
question.
than a lot of our U.S. pros. That's what I think.
So sit tight for the interview.
field
I
is
actually
straight.
asked that question. Okay, 303 Open. This was a Disc Golf Pro Tour Q Series. It was sanctioned as an A tier. So the Q Series, if you remember, is how you can get onto the Pro Tour next year. So you're in it this year. It was held at Beaver Ranch in the mountains of Colorado. Evan says it's not the same course as the match play in 2022, if anyone confuses it with that. And he says, Evan, I've played here. I like how he says Evan, because if I was reading this, I'd say, I have played here. That reminds me of Anchorman. I have played here? Wait, no. Okay, Evan.
He was reading off of the.
Yeah, I'm just
the thingy,
reading it. I
the
have played
teleprompter.
here! Exclamation mark. The winners here were Holly Finley and Aaron Gossage. You may know those names. Both have 2025 Disc Golf Pro Tour tour cards already. By playing in the 2023 Tour Championship, they're ineligible for Q Series points. So Holly and Aaron won, but they don't get Q Series points because they already have a tour card. I guess that's how it works. Good to know. Santa Cruz Masters Cup, A tier. Obviously, many previous years as an elite. That's why it's getting
such a
recognition right
history,
now.
right?
The winners, you may be recognizing these players as playing very well this year. Owen Scoggins and Ezra Robinson. Good for them. Robinson's first event in California. That's how Evan wrote it, first event. So there you go. He's made it over to the West Coast. And then finally, as we get ready to bring in Connor Rock, we do have an interview with him tonight. You may not be as familiar with his name, although we've been tracking him in Pop Drop Lock, so we have him in there. I don't know how many people, we'd have to look how many have picked him for this. We didn't do pop drop lock for Las Vegas Challenge, but here's the review on that. Evan says it was a great field. It was an A tier. The winners were, and I got to practice this again, Luca Lorenzen and Connor Rock. This is Lorenzen's first win in the USA. I saw her social media, and she is obviously inspired and happy and grateful and everything that could come along with that to the US win. And this is also her first A tier win. So this is a big deal. A different country, A tier. When it comes to Connor, this is his second A-tier win. 2023 LVC was Connor's best Elite Series finish last year. So if we were doing pop, drop, lock on this event, you would have been like Evan said, pick him as a pop and a lock, and you would have made 100 points on just Connor. So this is interesting. If you're following along at all, there was no real live coverage. LVC went live like with a smartphone or something. But after round 2, Gannon led Connor by 7 strokes. After round 2. Now this is a 4-round event, right?
Yeah.
But 7-stroke lead, and that was like leading over Calvin and Ricky, and like, I mean, this is
Isaac Robinson, Casey White,
big
Calvin.
field.
Yeah.
So in MPO, as he mentioned, Heimberg, Isaac Robinson, Wysocki, Casey White, Bradley Williams, Gavin Babcock, Emerson Keith, all these big names there. Connor came back and took it down last round, shooting 14 under par in the last round. In the FPO, Katrina Allen gets 3rd place to her. That's a big deal. She says she hasn't placed outside of the podium in so long. In fact, it was either 1st or 2nd for so many years. So she's proud of that. She's 6.5 months pregnant. It's a big deal for her, and congratulations to her. Lisa Fakis and Maria Oliva in the field there as well. But shout out to Luca. So there you go. We actually we're not going to go to our pop, drop, lock picks now. Connor, if you can hear us, would you try getting your camera on? We'll make sure you're all set up before we bring you in. If you're busy, then we'll just go into our picks.
And without Evan here, I've been sporting the Statmando hat.
Support that Statmando.
Repping it. Okay. Well, for the moment, he might be doing something else because, can you hear me, Connor? Okay. Try turning your camera on, and if it is on, close out of your browser window and restart with that link again, because I think it got locked out for you. So you can do that. That's just fine. Okay. So he's going to come back. We're going to give it a go there. And then after we do this interview with Connor, and Nix, you're going to take the lead on this one as the best disc golfer in our group. You get to lead this conversation with the other best disc golfer than the other best disc golfer who's joining the group. So we'll let you take this one. That's not how it always works, but we'll let you take this one, and then following that, we'll do our pop, drop, lock picks. So I think we're good to go. Give us a quick little snap or a test, Connor. Make sure you're there. Okay, cool. All right, everybody, we're going to bring into the show Connor Rock. Let's go ahead and do it.
Connor, what's going on? Congratulations. That's a massive win. Previous Elite Series stop used to be the inaugural event, usually for the Disc Golf Pro Tour season. We did look 2023. It was your best finish at 14th place. And then you win it this year in what I would say is one of the hardest A-tier fields that I've ever seen. So tell us about it first and foremost.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on the show. This past weekend was a pretty unreal experience. Like you said, I got 14th at the Pro Tour event last year. The Las Vegas Challenge is one of my first Disc Golf Pro Tour events I've ever played. And so it's a course I've grown over the years, more comfortable and confident in. And a tournament I've always wanted to win. And this year I was able to pull it off, and still a really stacked field. Not obviously a Pro Tour event this year, but a lot of Pro Tour players came and played. Gannon, Calvin. So it's a pretty unreal experience coming out on top.
So we see you're obviously traveling around in a van. Are you doing the van life, trying to make it on the Pro Tour, and just traveling around from event to event?
Yep. This is my second year on tour. Last year I traveled around, played as many events as I could. I traveled around in a Honda Element, and now I upgraded to a van for this year, which is a huge upgrade. And yeah, I'm just traveling, doing the circuit. I earned my tour card last year, so I'll be playing all the Pro Tour events, most of them at least, for the remainder of the year.
And how long have you been playing disc golf?
Yeah, I've been playing disc golf for about 12 years now. I think I started when I was 12.
Gotcha. So I'm kind of going back into your PDGA right now. This is your second A-tier win, which is incredible nonetheless. Your first one was over at the Seth Burton Memorial, which also had a pretty stacked feel at it. We've noticed you've played a lot of Pro Tour events so far this year, a good majority of them, but we are seeing kind of those wooded courses kind of getting to you a little bit. You're from Arizona, it looks like, just from your PDGA. Tell us just kind of the differences really realistically going from the Vegas style course, I know Arizona style courses, versus where Champions Cup was held, Waco, and all those ones. Just kind of give us a difference of where you see yourself, why you're excelling so far in some areas, but then in other areas, not as much as what I would assume you would like to be.
Yeah. Arizona disc golf, at least where I'm from, is in Pine Top Lakeside. We have fairly wooded courses. So I'm familiar with wooded courses, but I definitely don't feel more comfortable on them. I feel more comfortable on wide open courses, like Vegas, like Jonesboro, where I cashed earlier this year. I think they play a little bit more to my stronger suits. I like more open style golf. I can throw the disc pretty far for tour standards. And I feel like I can manage those a little bit better versus like a Champions Cup, where, I mean, Champions Cup is, and Waco are so like some of the harder wooded courses that we play on tour, and it just takes me a little bit more to adjust and kind of find my footing on wooded courses compared to open courses.
How did the pressure kind of feel, especially going into the last round? You'd put up, I think it was like a 14 down, almost 10, around 1080 rated, which is just insanity as it is. Talk to us about the pressure, going against players like Gannon Burr, who's an Elite Series winner, Calvin Heimberg, Elite Series winner, Ricky Wysocki, Bradley Williams making a charge. Talk to us a little bit, was there a crowd out there? You're out in Vegas. It's, like I said, it's been an event on the Pro Tour for the longest time, and then it's still a massive A tier. Just talk to us a little bit about the pressure that maybe you were feeling in that final round, or lack thereof.
Yeah, there was a crowd out there the final round. Definitely like a new experience for myself, not playing on a lead card and with like a lot of notable pros and kind of being in the hunt for the win. But going into the round and going into every round this week, I've actually was able to really kind of find like a nice kind of calmness. I was able to clear my mind, and I kind of was able to go out there and kind of play very clearly, very smoothly. I stayed very patient. I didn't let mistakes get to me all that often. I tried staying very present, and the pressure didn't get to me quite as much as I kind of thought it would going into the round. And there were some moments, not to kind of spoil anything if you guys haven't seen the coverage, but there was like one putt kind of when I kind of had a couple strokes. It was a tester uphill and I kind of felt the nerves for the first time there at that moment, and I kind of really yanked the putt. But I kind of was able to brush it off and make the comebacker, and then from there I was able to kind of regain my focus and kind of move forward.
Now, going into kind of the West Coast swing of things, we are seeing the more open style courses, OTB Open at Stockton. We got Portland Open coming up, Beaver State Fling, all these different tournaments that are in generally more open courses. Is this kind of a big boost of confidence going into the next stretch? I would say the, second, third of the tour.
Absolutely. This is a huge boost of confidence moving forward. A lot of these events I haven't played before, so these are going to be my first time at all these courses, but I've watched the coverage of all of them. I know that they're wide open courses, bomber courses. So coming from Las Vegas to these courses, I feel like I'll be able to confidently move forward and give my best effort at these tournaments.
Definitely. So this was also, this was a come from behind victory. You weren't leading going into the final round. You had actually put the pressure kind of massively, beating Gannon. I think it was by 5 strokes in the final round to end up winning the tournament by 1 stroke. Did you feel like, par on hole 1, you both took a par, and then you started gaining strokes right after that. You got the eagle on hole 7. What was it that just kind of clicked during that round? Like, did you just feel a euphoric moment where it's like, what, I got this? And when did you feel like you knew you were going to win the tournament?
Yeah, I once I started getting some birdies and definitely that eagle, I started really feeling comfortable on the course. Really felt comfortable in my routine, and then I think it was hole 8. I took a birdie. Gannon unfortunately rolled OB and then missed his comebacker for par, and that ended up tying us. And right there, I definitely felt the pressure and kind of knew that I had a chance. So I was just really trying to keep myself in it, trying to stay focused, stay in my routine. And then I think when I finally knew that I kind of had a really good chance at winning was hole 16. Gannon had a look for birdie, chained out left, and then I had a uphill outside, just outside circle putt. And once I made that putt, and once I made it, that gave me 2 strokes back going into the last holes, and I kind of thought at that moment that I could win. I could win this tournament.
So a $4,000 payday coming from this event is not too shabby. It's pretty sweet feeling in and of itself. Kind of gets you a little bit more comfortable heading up to OTB. What were your kind of goals and aspirations going into the season? Getting an A-tier win is huge, but kind of working towards that Elite Series, Q Series stuff. Kind of what are your goals going into or finishing out, I would say, the 2024 season?
Yeah, going into the season, I really had no expectations. I felt like I had a little bit more better footing on tour, doing it last year and kind of getting used to what tour life is like. So as far as this year, I think a lot of my expectations is just try to keep doing my best at all these Elite Series events. I think some goals for the remaining of the season would be to just keep playing really well, try to finish in like top 20, top 10 on the Elite Series events, and just keep working at it. Definitely try to secure my tour card for the following season, because this is what I love doing. This is where I want to be, and I just want to keep playing disc golf.
Very cool. And one final question for me before I toss it over to Josh, one of our other hosts, is and I don't know your game too well yet. Do you have a manufacturer sponsorship?
No, I do not. I was last year, so I was open bag, and then this year we parted ways. So I just have a local sponsor from my hometown, Park to Disc Golf, who's helping me out, and I'm doing open bag again.
Very cool. Good for you. All right, Josh, take it away.
Hey, Connor, this is Josh. I know we're actually probably about to wrap up. Thank you for your time. It's always exciting for us to hear. So I just have two simple things. One, so I listened. I actually took notes about like how you approached listening to your interview here with Nick. Is there anything in particular that you felt like you did so well this past weekend that you're going to intentionally bring forward to the next events? Like, was there something you learned, experienced? You talked about your calmness, like kind of your mindset. Is there anything you plan to replicate, or is it just like continue to just try your best? I'm just curious if there's anything specific that stands out.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to replicate my mindset from this past weekend. Like I said, I was feeling very calm, very focused. I wasn't really thinking too much about not about my shots that I was throwing, but like not thinking too much about future holes, what could happen, or past holes, mistakes that I made, or not getting angry at myself. I was really trying to stay calm, present, and kind of like not like fearing what happened, fearing like I could mess up and I take myself out of it and get angry and get frustrated. I was really trying to just kind of stay present, stay focused, and that's what I'm going to try to carry through to the next tournament.
That's awesome. Well, I will tell you, we interview a lot of pros here, and that's a consistent theme. So it sounds like you've latched onto that, and I bet you that'll help drive more success. So are we going to get to see you at USDGC this year?
Yes. I will be at USDGC. I got my bid at LVC.
That's awesome.
So I will definitely be going to USDGC.
Because I know you talked about trying to get the tour card next year, but getting to USDGC is a pretty big deal also. So
it is.
So again, congrats on the win. Congrats on all the excitement surrounding it for a strong field. Congrats on USDGC, and obviously best of luck. So the rest of the guys on the show, anything else, or are we ready to let Connor go?
No,
best of luck and travel safe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Connor.
And I just wanted to say what you said about thinking only about the holes you're on. I've been trying to teach my kids that. They play disc golf, and man, they still look ahead. So I'm going to have them listen to that little part by you there. So appreciate it. Appreciate
Thank you guys for
safe travels,
having
man.
me on the show.
Absolutely. All right, man.
Thank you.
Get it.
Peace.
OTB Open, I'm sure. All right. That was Connor Rock. Good interview. It's always good to hear from players that you don't know anything about, and they win or they do something cool like that, and we get them on, and we get to hear from them.
Yeah,
that's
when
awesome.
They go and succeed at an event where there's world champions, there's major champions, USDGC champions, previous past champions of that event, and then to go out and win it shooting a 1080 final round, you kind of want to get the insight of what they've been doing. Yeah,
that's well earned. And like he was smiling throughout, obviously, getting that win. But I will say, Nick, when you asked about the payout, the smile immediately changed. You could tell because it's a grind, and you can look at his winnings this year, and he's cashed before, but $4,000.
He's also, I'll tell you this,
immediately.
He's also missed cash, which the biggest thing when you go to big events right now, people don't realize it. And, Champions Cup, I'm sure it was probably $350 to $400 just to sign up for that event. He's not working with a sponsorship right now. That's probably paying his entry fees. You look at that, you look at the travel that it takes to get out there. The dude's from Arizona. I don't know where he was prior to that, but it ends up being around an $800 to $1,000 weekend just in general. Take a couple of those and miss cash. Your life gets a little bit stressful, but to go out and win an A tier, I mean, I've won an A tier where I won $1,750, and it was like, damn, I really needed that. Like that is super helpful. To go out and throw a Frisbee for a couple days, is not too shabby. So a $4,000 paycheck, awesome. It's very nice going into the next event.
He won a couple other, or he played, he cashed in some other A tiers this year, but there's nothing like $4,000.
No, it's nothing like $4,000 PayPal deposit. Yeah.
All right. He's also averaging just a few places better than where he did last year. I don't remember how many events he played last year, but he's averaging 5 spots better, which here's something to say. He's averaging 65th place this year, which is like you're on tour, so that's fantastic. But this is a win against some of the big players. I know it's not Elite Series, it's not Pro Tour, but man, it always has been. You can talk about the field of strength, the strength of field, know, just right? For everyone. I just said that for old time's sake. All right, let's get into pop, drop, lock, where we're going to talk about OTB Open and our picks.
Pop, drop, lock, yeah.
Every time. I think it's because I have like 82 videos playing at one time. That's so funny. Every time right there. Boop. I'll have to edit that. Okay. Here we are. I did text Evan. I think he's on vacation. That's my guess. I don't remember where he is, but I did text him a bit ago and I said, hey, did you get in your picks? And he said, oh, shoot, let me see. And that was the last I've heard from him. So I don't know if we can. Nice. Well, it's going to be last week's or 2 weeks ago's picks, maybe, or it could be current. We'll see. We know 2 of them will be right because he's taking Ben's pop as his drops.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start out with Nick. Tell us about your picks, Nick. Oop, I did points from last week. Here
okay, I got 18 points. It was a very bad week.
This is your picks for OTB Open.
Yeah. OTB Open, Jake Wolf, starting out on the MPO pop-off side. Now, Jake Wolf has a very unique game style, big overhand thrower, kind of thumbers, tomahawks. Just recently left Dynamic Discs, and one of the reasons being he didn't feel like their discs could kind of fit his wide array of, how he plays the game, especially in windy conditions. So I'm curious to see if this kind of adds, or takes off a little bit of pressure, kind of throwing stuff that maybe is more suitable for his game. So I feel like here at OTB, we are going to see a pop-off from him. Drop, Ezra Robinson. He's averaging 14th place right now, and he's an absolute stud. Just won Santa Cruz Master Cup. The only reason is if he has a bad week, I might get a lot of points out of it. But that's about it. And then my lock, Calvin Heimberg. I think he could get a big win over at the OTB Open. Popping off, Kona Montgomery is averaging, I think, 37th place right now, and we are starting to see a little bit of a build-up come out of Kona. So I think this will be great. Lisa Fakis is just coming off of a podium over at, LVC and then also DDO before that. I think this one will be a little bit tougher depending on the putting day. And then my lock is Holland Hanley. We do not see a lot of the European women at this event. When I say a lot of them, I mean specifically Tatar, Evelina, Henna. So I think Holland does have a great advantage at this one. Long distance thrower, if she keeps that putt handled, I think she's got it.
Great. All right, here come my picks. So I went with, there's multiple players I keep going for here. It's like a fishing game. I'm like, come on, give me the big money. Drew Gibson as my pop. The dude is slacking this year, so he has a really low average finish, like 61st or something. And I feel like
I think he's dealing with some injury stuff. I feel like I could have either it's elbow or knee or something like that. I want to say elbow.
Last year he was. Now it's just him kept playing catch up.
We need another show, like the fantasy pick show, where Nick can give us all the like, hey, this guy's injured. Here's what I'm hearing on the streets for this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Insider knowledge.
Yeah, he had like surgery last year for his elbow or something.
And then,
or his shoulder.
That's my pop pick. I think I've seen him do well at OTB before. He can throw far. Let's see if he does, but that's a big part of this. I know rollers and all that, but my drop is Luke Humphreys. Again, the guy, as we know, starts out so good usually, like at the beginning of the season, and he's even held on longer this year than ever. But this is a big bomber course. He's not really known for that, but if he can play consistent, he'll do fine. But I'm picking him to drop. He's at like a 20th place finish average. That's incredible. Good job to him. Lock is Gannon Burr. I think this is my only second time picking Gannon. I think it's a lock. Kid is incredible. This course he's played well at before. I think he was just eked out last year by Emerson Keith by like a stroke or two. Mm-hmm. So we know he's playing well this year, and he plays well there. So that's my lock. My pop for FPO is Jessica Weiss. I don't remember her average off the top of my head. I want to say it's 18th, somewhere in there, 17th. I probably can pull it up. Let me see. Not that it really matters, but
I've got it, but that's because I picked her.
Oh, you did too? Okay. Yeah. She's averaging 23rd, I believe. So she has a good opportunity here. California, isn't that her home? Like California, the state?
Yeah.
It's overplayed to say home field advantage. I'm not saying that, but I bet she feels good. She's played well here before. That's my pop pick. Luca Lorenzen is my drop. Now, that one's hard for me because she's actually my pop pick for the year. The whole year. She just won her first 8 here in the U.S., and then I go drop on her. I just don't feel like this course, again, I just have a feeling it doesn't play to her strengths. It's a bigger course. She didn't play really well last year, I think. And to be fair, guys, as we get further into the season, we're not talking big swings here. When I say drop, I don't mean she's going to bomb.
Yeah.
I just mean I think she's going to play a little underneath at the very least. And then finally, my lock, Owen Scoggins. Did she take this one down last year? Or she was second to Paige, maybe? Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm picking her to lock. She's been playing extremely well. She's going to continue to play well. Ben, you're up.
Well, would you looky here?
That's crazy.
So I got, whoa.
What is up with your dropping your lock?
I don't think my drop's saved. My drop is definitely not Owen Scoggins.
Oh,
That's a
baby.
bold strategy.
That's Evan's pop now. Which would be a bad pop, too.
No, my drop was Holland Hanley. It just didn't save on the file.
All right.
I can fix that.
You'll
But
fix
anyways, pop Drew Gibson, same as Matt. Drop Luke Humphrey's been playing great.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. It's just the odds. And then lock, I'm going Aaron Gossage. I'm pretty sure he got eked out by Emerson last year. So
Yeah, he was second place last year.
yeah. And then pop Madison Walker. She's been doing so well. Thank you, Madison. Drop, I'm going Holland Hanley. And locking, I am going Owen Scoggins. Boom.
Now, just out of curiosity for Madison, do you pick her because you think like, hey, she plays maybe just a few better, that's good? Or do you actually think to yourself like free points, or like, what are you thinking with her? Like, you actually think she's going to pop at this event, or are you thinking more like easy points?
Her average is 43rd.
He's thinking easy points.
That's what I feel like.
I'm thinking she's going to pop.
Over her average, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, going next over to Josh.
Yep. So Emerson Keith, simply saying last year he won, right? Surprised us all in one. So I don't know, averaging 37th. My drop is Matt Bell. Just think it's a tough course for him. Gannon Burr is my pick to win. And in FPO, we have Jessica Weiss. I already mentioned that. Drop, I had a hard time deciding who to drop. Valerie Mondahano, it's just a risk of saying, I don't know, like,
Maybe
she might drop. And then Ella Hansen to win. Bomber course, played well here last year. Eventually, she's got to do it. So
yeah.
Okay, and Evan did not get his picks in, but we will see his drops are Ben's pops. Oh, see, you didn't. Oh, there it is. Madison Walker. All right.
What?
And Drew Gibson as his drops because they were your pops. It auto-fills it. So we're going to let him get those in if he wants to. I think, like I said, he's on vacation. We'll give him grace for tonight. Or rules are rules. I don't know.
Rules are rules. Evan, sorry, you're out.
I don't know if he's listening. We'll have to see if he gets it in by tonight, or he'll say whatever. And then to our chat, Daniel from Texas. I love how we say from Texas. So
Yeah.
I think
Every time.
if he did it in this order here, he says Ezra's going to pop. Now, I'm going to guess that's Aderhold. Because
I think it's Robinson.
Is
maybe.
it? Let me just see real quick.
Ezra Aderholt has a less of an average.
Ezra Aderhold is 29th. Right. So, like,
Yeah.
I
That'd
feel
be
like
a
he
better
could
Oh,
pop.
it is Aderhold, yeah.
Yeah, if you go Robinson, it wouldn't be a good pick. Okay, see, we have really low latency. We can actually chat with Daniel now. And then Ricky to drop. Why, man,
Big
Ricky
time.
to
He's
drop.
like 7th. So
Man,
makes sense.
Rolling the dice. And then Calvin, Heimberg, Locke. That's an easy one. But then Maria Oliva. I teetered on Maria for this one. But
Same.
we have a listener, Evan, out of, I want to say it's Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin.
Evan Stanek.
I played around up there with him once, and he reaches out and we correspond every now and then about stuff, and he was giving us some of his picks. And when I picked Maria Oliva last time, he's like, he messages me, good luck with that. He's like, I've picked her like 4 times, and every time she doesn't pop. It's crazy. And you want to believe in it every time. And I was so close this time. So there you go, Daniel from Texas. Maria Oliva is your pop. He's picking Ella to drop and Hanley to lock. Those are good there. So, all right. He says he's going boom or bust. All right. Let's go to our 4-up scene as we get ready here. I'm going to check and see. We've got Emily Weatherman next. She's not in the green room yet. We'll give her a minute there. But we have Emily Weatherman lined up for an interview. Following Emily, we're going to get an update from New England Women's Disc Golf. We've had them on previously this season. They're going to talk to us for a few minutes about their women's global event at Maple Hill. I don't know, but I feel like they said the largest women's global event. I don't know. I'll let them say.
It's pretty high. It's like over 100
Yeah.
players.
I'll have to get that information from them. They will give us
Florida
that quick
has a pretty big
update.
one.
But what you're gonna want to hear is from our Finnish friend ESA. Just not because I asked questions, but because of his answers. And in fact, again, he will be instructing me per my request on how to say certain names. I make a little fool of myself.
Did he do Benjamin?
Oh, that would have been a good one. I should have did it for hosts of the show, but we actually, just to give a little spoiler, he said, let's do American names and I'll give you the Finnish accent. So we did some of those as well. All right. Emily, we see you in the green room. You're not live yet, but you mind just like clapping your hands or saying hi or something just so we know? Okay, she's there. Perfect. So we are going to bring in Emily. There, Ben, we see you updated your topics.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to bring in Emily to the show. And Josh, you're going to take this one. Let's welcome her to the show, everybody. Emily Weatherman.
Hello, Emily. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, so I know you've been on at least one other podcast because I listened to it. And obviously 2 weekends ago, people saw you on the national broadcast playing at DDO. And you've been on tour this year. So my point is there are probably plenty of people who know some about you, but there's probably a lot of our listeners who don't know much except for your performance at DDO. So I do have some different notes here and there, but I'm curious if you can just give us a little bit about your disc golf history. And if we look at the official PDGA, I'm just prompting you, seeing you starting in 2018 in some junior events, and then kind of making your way through FA1 and then FPO. So like, just give us a little bit of rundown of your history, and then I may ask a couple specific questions to follow up.
Yeah, so I started in 2018, like you said, playing competitively. I've been playing since I was very young, but I didn't really like to play whenever I was younger. I would kind of bring a soccer ball and kick it around a little bit. And then getting older, I started getting more into it. And for high school, I went to homeschool. And I think that's where most of my progress showed because I started focusing more on the sport rather than like school sports, which is what I was doing in middle school. So yeah, I progressed a lot during that amount of time, so like the last 4 years, I'd say. But yeah, I'd say I moved up divisions very quickly, especially getting into FPO. I think I played my first FPO tournament either the second or third year that I was competing. Um, and it didn't go great, but it was great experience. And I ended up here, so I had to have done something right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I may not have this like right necessarily, but when I'm looking, it looks like you did kind of move into FPO. I'd have to look back at the stats. Were you playing FPO events without accepting cash for a year or two?
Yes.
Was there a particular reason?
Because I wanted to play in Junior Worlds. I played in Junior Worlds for 2 years, and I was going to play in it a third year, and then there was $1,000 plus win, and I didn't want to decline that, so I was just like, well, I guess I'm doing it now, so whatever.
Yeah, was that in 2023? Does that sound right? Would have been last year or the year before? 2022
so.
maybe.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, awesome. Well, anyway,
I think it was 2030.
Yeah. Well, if just looking at your stats, honestly, like you said, maybe there were some challenges, but to your point, you moved up fairly quickly and really were kind of crushing the field, at least at some point or another, all throughout. So this is what's interesting. So again, if you just look at your actual history of events, lots of wins, number 2, number 3, plenty of podium wins. And then you hit the tour. Now we're going to talk a little bit about DDO, but like it's a much more competitive field. What did it feel like for you all of a sudden joining the tour and, just assuming you might finish in first and second is not necessarily quite so easy. Was it everything you expected? Has the competition been harder than you expected or maybe exactly what you thought it would be?
I would say it's pretty much what I thought it would be. So going into touring, I had very low expectations just because I've never done it before. So it was just go out there, try to have a good time, try to experience it, but also keep that competitiveness that I've had my entire career. And I found myself quite often in the beginning thinking you're not good enough. But that's not true. And I knew deep down that it wasn't true, which is why I continued to try and try and try again and try again. Um, and DDO finally felt like it was right, like it was my game. Yes, I could have done better. And if I would have done better, I would have won. And I think I missed over 10 C1 putts the whole tournament. And so I know if I just cleaned that up, like I would have been way up there. And that's a simple fix. It's a very simple fix.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's interesting. Like you said, sometimes the self-doubt or questions, and you commented on DDO, it just felt right. So just to kind of really confirm that, do you feel that that's validation, and does that change your expectations for the rest of the season? Like in your mind, like you fit in and you can do it. Are you expecting that type of performance from the events here on out?
Yes, I think it does change my expectations quite a bit because I've finally proven to myself that I can be up there. And so now I have to just keep performing like that because the two prior to DDO, I was not myself. It was not my game. It felt off. And even I just played a practice round and even that felt off. Um, but I know what I need to do to fix it. And I think that this course here at the OTB Open, I think it plays a lot like DDO, just kind of open, bomb shots. So I'm feeling pretty ready, and I know that I'm gonna perform like myself.
That's awesome. So I hear you talking a lot about it's not this simple, but often we break the game up into our mental game. And then obviously there's the ability to execute the physical aspect of throwing and the skills you need. It sounds like you're talking a lot about the mental aspect and kind of your mindset going in. Do you feel like that's the biggest thing? So if your mindset's right, you have the skills you need to perform like you did at DDO?
Yes, I feel like that's a big part of it, probably 70% of it. But today, my timing for my throws and my putts were all off, which I think just comes from the week that I just took off because I didn't play a tournament. I was going to play Santa Cruz and I dropped out just so that I could heal my hip that was giving me problems last week or week before DDO. I wanted to heal that completely and be ready for this stretch of the tour. So I think that's why my timing is off. But I also know that today was mental as well because I kept like overdoing it. I kept trying and trying and trying and not taking my time just because I was frustrated with it.
Yeah, well, the game is complex, and you're obviously performing, or you performed well at DDO. So now, this is 2 weeks ago, and I'm just going to come out and say again, I listened to you on the Smashbox podcast, and I thought your response was excellent. So in many ways, I don't want to drain that, but as far as on the last hole with the in or out call. So my question is not so much whether you thought it was in or out. I think you already said you thought it was in, but you understand the call, right? I believe, unless you're wanting to add to that. But I'm curious, did you learn anything from that experience? Again, either mentally or like how to navigate that, or it's just a one-off unique and you're just kind of rolling forward and the past is the past. Did you learn anything from that in or out call experience?
Just that things can't always go your way. like I know it very well could have gone my way, and I think that everybody knows that, but it didn't, and so I learned to just take it and move on. Because it's really not the end of the world. There will be other tournaments. There are other tournaments coming up. Um, I already proved myself prior to that call, and I was already very proud of where I was, and I'm proud of where I ended up even after the call. So just all of it was just it was frustrating for sure. And I'm not gonna lie about it. Like yes, I thought it was in. I tried to fight for it. It didn't stick. It's okay. Um, that's kind of all I have to say about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you said, you kind of just have to you make your case and then move on, and how you respond to it is probably just as important. And the event also, of course, everybody likes to hone in on the judgment call that's made, and it's on the last hole and how close it is. But the event is made up of more than just that one particular throw as well. So I think it certainly is a mature response, and odds are it won't be the last time you'll face a call like that on either side. You'll have to make a call for someone else, or someone's going to have to call your disc.
Yeah.
So again, congrats on a really strong performance there, regardless of the way that last hole went. Like, you really played incredible and looked strong and confident. So I can tell you, even now that you took a week off, people are going to be curious to see how you perform at OTB Open. And I think your name is certainly going to continue to be more recognized, especially if you play like that. So are you qualified for all the events? Are you a tour card holder? What's your plans in pursuing that at this point?
I am not a tour card holder. I'm playing Monday qualifiers for most of the ones that are coming up just to try and get in last second because a lot of them are full. So, like the Portland Open, I'm already in the Monday qualifier. So the odds are pretty good of getting in just because not many people sign up for the FPO side of Monday qualifiers. So I'm not really worried about that. So I think everybody will be seeing me at these next upcoming events.
Okay, awesome. So that's what I was going to ask is, so even though you're unsure, you're planning to tour, it's just a matter of how you get into the events is really what you have to figure out, whether it's qualifying or being able to straight up register. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned, and I don't know if anybody else knew, but you said you had to kind of recover a little bit of soreness here and there. Do you feel healthy? Do you have any health issues that you're worried about, or is it just kind of rest and recovery?
It's feeling really good. So I'm not really sure how much they showed of me on coverage, but I know that first round and last round was the most pain that I had. You might have seen me kind of limping, trying to keep off of my right leg a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what it was. At first, I thought it was maybe a pulled hamstring, um, or I've had hip problems in the past. Um, Maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know. It was in that general area. Um, but this week and even last week, it was feeling pretty good. So hopefully that pain stays away. It seems to come back while playing, not as much as just walking. So it's definitely something to do with like the planting, I believe. So we'll see how it is during these next couple of practice days, and I'll go from there.
Great. Well, let's certainly hope the best. Obviously, there can be things that are just kind of a little bit annoying, but obviously you want to make sure you take care of that with a long tour ahead, because we definitely want to watch and be rooting you on. All right. So big manufacturer sponsors. I don't believe you have one currently aligned unless something's happened in the last week or two. So is that something you're pursuing, or are you just kind of waiting for that to take its course?
I'm just kind of waiting. I don't really have an idea of anybody I want at the moment. So just waiting, seeing what I hear, or who I hear from, what offers I get, and taking it from there. I'm not rushing into anything though.
Great. Awesome. Well, yeah, focus on the performance on the course, and that'll certainly, play out well for you, I would imagine. All right. So again, this interview for the most part tonight, especially 2 weeks removed from the event, was just to allow our audience to get to know you more. Again, we're going to be watching and rooting and expecting the performance based on your confidence here and kind of your mental mindset. Totally unrelated to disc golf. Do you have any off the course hobbies or interests? Or is everything 100% disc golf only for Emily Weatherman? Is there anything else that you do to fill the time when you're not throwing a disc?
Yeah. So I just recently, when I started hanging out with Rob and Chandler, we started going to escape rooms.
All right.
And so we've been doing that a ton. Um, we also went and did like laser tag. We just find little things around the area to go do and have fun with. Um, that's pretty much it, I'd say. Other than that, I'm like sitting here watching Netflix or whatever, just resting.
All the normal kind of, rest and normal stuff. But yeah, escape rooms, laser tag. I guess things to break up the time, because I'm sure most of your life is focused around disc golf at the moment, especially if that's what you're kind of living and breathing. And what's your actual tour arrangements? Vehicle, van, first class flights? What's the situation? I obviously heard you mention those you're kind of touring and traveling with.
Yeah. So right now I'm traveling in my little Ford Fusion. I am getting a van soon. Whenever I
Okay.
go back to Texas, probably around when the tour goes to Europe is when I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So as of right now, this weekend, I'm in an Airbnb. So I'm kind of just back and forth between Airbnb, hotel as of right now.
Yep. Kind of classic tour life, which I'm sure comes with its own ups, probably some amazing experiences, probably some downs as well. But Emily, we definitely thank you so much for joining the show this evening. I know we didn't drag it out in the classic Smashbox fashion, but we enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more. Are expecting certainly the best, and looking forward to kind of watching and rooting for you this coming weekend.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for having me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course.
All right. Have a great
Thank you
evening.
so much.
You too.
Wow, cool. It's always great to get to know, as I mentioned already, like Connor Rock, and I also had the privilege of talking to ESA, which we're getting to very soon here. In fact, we have another guest lined up. We're hard hitting tonight with guests. I think this is going to be a 4-pack show, so this is pretty spectacular. The Women's Global event is coming up. And last time we had on New England Women's Disc Golf, we talked about that, and we mentioned OTB Open happening on that day. And I think there's a possibility that that's going to be really special for the Women's Global event. So anyways, let's have in the guests of the night, Julie Fredella and crew from New England Women's Disc Golf. Let's bring them in, Ben.
Hello.
Hello.
Whose ever garage that is, that's an incredible garage, by the way.
Shout out
Thank
to
you.
Sean Paul.
All right, so how you ladies doing on this fine evening?
Doing well. Getting one of many late nights in Chantal's garage, getting everything ready for the WGE this weekend at Maple Hill for our area. And so we are very excited for all that we have coming up this Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so tell us more about the Northeast Women's Disc Golf and what you got this weekend. There's been talks that this is the biggest women's global event of all time on our podcast about 30 minutes ago, but can you confirm that for us?
I think so far we're leading with 100 women.
Ooh.
But if there are any ladies, waiting, sign up now because it's going to be a great time.
Wow. I will just say, you said 100 right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's deserves some hype music.
Boom.
So yeah, 100. Do you know, is there a record? Like, is there a record for most women at a women's global event, or is that not a thing?
I think our last global in 2022 was 99
And I think we were the largest.
that year in the world.
So we don't know this year, but we do know that you're potentially beating out last year or 2 years ago? You said 2023 or 22?
22, August of 22.
So is this an every other year event? I forget. Yeah.
Yes.
So what's going down with 100 women at Maple Hill? Is it multiple rounds? What's the benefit of doing the event this way? And what are your expectations and goals?
We wanted to accommodate as many women as we possibly could after 2022, and we figured the best way to do that was to make it a 2-day with tea times. And right now, the way we have it mapped out is our tea times will be 9 to 2, and we have, how many divisions do we have? We have an FA 70, fun fact. Shout out Betty Gould. But in addition to accommodating this many players, we also wanted to put on a really fun event with a lot of different things, including having a vendor village, a food truck for all day, and that's going to be Barbecue Underground. And thank you, Ocombe Disc Golf, for providing all of our beer and alcohol needs. Our vendors, Carvella Bags, Dead Last Disc Golf, and we have kind of a Disc Golf 978 Union Square collab happening as well.
Hold on. I'm cutting Ben off. I'm going to give it back to him. But you mentioned like a food spread and beer. Are spectators encouraged to show up, or is this like women only? Women only.
Spectators, volunteers, caddies.
Okay.
Anybody.
Okay.
Where the community is welcome to witness this amazing spectacle of women's disc golf.
Well, maybe I'll swing by. Ben, back to you.
I was gonna say, what's cool too is after the last FPO card tees off, we are having like a Saturday night players party that caddies, spectators, volunteers, everyone is welcome to attend. We will have a Field of Dreams event that we had similar to what we had at our 2022 series event, which is basically 30 signs set up on hole 18's fairway, and every participant gets 3 throws, and each sign is corresponding to some really awesome prizes that we have donated from different disc golf manufacturers, different companies, and different community folks. So we are very lucky to have them and be able to kind of put that extra special thing on. And shout out to Andy Romansky for giving us the idea from her event, even, maybe about 2.5, 3 years ago now.
Okay. Ben and I are trying to decide who gets the next question. This is going to be Ben's, and we're chatting. He's like, back to you. And I'm like, no, back to you. So here's my question, though, because I have one, is you probably have a larger connection network group to women's disc golf, especially in the Northeast. That's who you are. That's what you do. But I'm sure we reach into pockets that maybe you don't. But you are New England women's disc golf, or is it Northeast? Northeast. Sorry, Northeast. So we have people that are listening from, I'm sure, Pennsylvania and all the way down. If they feel like, hey, I would rather play at Maple Hill than their local women's global event, I'm not saying like they should ditch it, but like let's say that was their aspirations, they wanted to. Is it too late for them to sign up for this event? Like, how does that work?
Not at all. Registration's open until the day before. Okay. We actually just had a comment that someone has space in their hotel room, so let us know. We'll hook you up with that person if you want to come up for it.
We'll also have free camping at Maple Hill Thursday and Sunday for folks. So
free
if
camping.
you are, so free camping on hole 17 gold. So if folks are camper people, there is space for you.
It's a dream come true. Free camping at Maple Hill. All right, now Ben, for real, back to you.
Back to me. Hello. So can you just tell me more about kind of, because I'm reading your description, it says join us in 3,000 women worldwide. Does this mean in this one weekend there's going to be several women's global events? And is this the only one of the year, or is there multiple weekends where it's all one giant events all over the United States or Europe or wherever?
It's all over the world. So some events may be a Saturday, some events are just Sunday, some events span 2 days, and they range all different tiers, but it all happens in the same weekend all around the world.
Oh, wow. So the same weekend, that's incredible. How does that take into coordination? Are you talking with, is there a higher ups, or is there, you guys are kind of just doing your own thing with the Maple Hill and everyone else is kind of doing their own thing? How's the organization part take place?
So the PDGA Women's Committee has, they're kind of like the governing body of the Women's Global event. And if you want to register your event as a Women's Global event, you just have to do it through PDGA.com when you are signing up. Just say it's a Women's Global event, and non-PDGA members, their fees are waived for this event, and in a trying to get more women to eventually sign up and play. So
if it's a C tier below.
If it's a C tier below.
Awesome. And just to wrap up, what does this mean for you in general, just you three setting this up and seeing all these incredible women come and play at Maple Hill? Just tell us how special that is, that you guys are making some dreams come true. This community that I'm sure you guys have been striving after for a long time.
Yeah, seeing this many women in one place at one course is just the most fun, inspiring thing. One of my first events, 2016, I think, was a women's global event, and that's what kind of got me really hooked, was playing with all those women, seeing them all together, being successful, cheering each other on. It's just, the atmosphere is amazing.
And we just want to keep making it bigger and better every year. And another addition to our players party is we're going to have the SAP room is going to be available for all the ladies, the game room upstairs in the SAP house. We're going to have a DJ, and we also have Maple After Dark. So we're going to have a 9-hole glow set up on the first 6 holes of reds with a few temp holes, and all competitors can play, and anybody else who wants to play, it's as a donation. What did you say, Kim?
A monetary donation for any non-tournament player.
So anybody in the community can come down and play Glow. That's being set up by Spencer Austin, Aaron Kazauka, and Chris Matson. So thank you guys for donating your time to do that for us.
And I think,
no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, just seeing how this event in this area has grown. I think one of my first WGEs was at Rapscallion in 2018, and just seeing how it's grown and developed. And now we have 3 WGEs in the area that all are drawing their own crowd. We have us, we have Westy Acres, and Farmer's Daughter up in Maine, and it is just incredible to see that there's that many women in the sport to fill and draw interest in all of these events. And kind of goes back to one of our major kind of core goals of the year, was fostering that community. And with that, it's having this amazing event that just happens to be a disc golf tournament, but having all these different add-ons to make it to help folks feel connected with one another.
Yeah, that's sorry, that's incredible. Is there anything you want to shout out before we let you guys go? Any sponsors that are helping you set this thing up? Yeah,
so many sponsors. I'm not going to be able to name them all, because there's just like probably close to 100 people, companies, and organizations that have donated time, money, prizes, swag, their media specialties, that we are so indebted to for seeing this vision along with us and wanting to support it. Our series sponsor is East Coast Metal Roofing, along with Union Square Disc Golf, and so they're helping not just our event, but the entire Queen of the Northeast series, we so appreciate them.
And they helped us get to 1,100 out of cash for the event, which is really exciting.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, and hopefully me and Matt might make it out there. And Josh, that glow sounds interesting. That's pretty awesome that you're leaving it open for anyone, because Maple in the dark is something everyone should experience. So thanks again. I really appreciate you guys coming on, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Peace out. Oh, sometimes, Josh, we have to practice so much control over our physical bodies. When you made a comment, people are like, what is he saying? You made a comment in the chat that off screen, Ben and I are all curled up on the floor. And then it goes back to Ben. And did you notice he laughs?
Yeah,
goes, "Oh,
I
sorry."
timestamped it because I'm going to send it back to you all later.
I'm only laughing because Matt's just dying,
Ben-
and I
was
can't help
literally
it.
crying.
Ben comes back from their answering, and by the way, we're not just detracting from their everybody, like they were awesome women's
Go
global
support.
event, but this is about us for just a moment. And yes, he comes back, and Ben looks at the screen and goes, and then goes back to a regular question.
I'm glad I held it together because I could have. It was just Matt.
I can see you collapsing under the table. Your legs are all crooked under the table.
It's because you were just dying laughing, and I didn't even know what for. I was just dying laughing because you were dying laughing.
Did you see it in the chat?
I did see comments.
You're fine. People are funny, but I asked, does global mean just Maple Hill?
Well, you have to set the stage real quick. One of our chat listeners here, Zach, says, this is how it all starts. Give me the recap. He goes, are these questions just for listeners, or do we really not know about the women's global event? And I said, haha, Zach, we often ask questions for the benefit of all. And I said, actually, Ben might really wonder, like, what about this? And Zach goes, woo, LOL. And then Josh goes, does global mean just Maple Hill? And just the way it rolled off during this interview in the chat just cracked us up. And Ben, good job.
I was just laughing because you were laughing and you were just staring at me, and that's why I laughed. You're like, and
laughter is good, and everybody watching along. There's probably some percentage of them out there are just rolling their eyes and being like, "What are these idiots talking about now?" But it's all right. It's our show, and we're laughing, and it's funny. And some of you are laughing and enjoying it. It's great.
Okay. Also, to answer Zach's question, yes, it's normally general questions just to
for the benefit of all.
Yes, to get them to talk. I know women's global event. I just. It
was just fun. Ben, it was totally fine. Just know I'm having fun because I was picking on the fact I think you're like, so are there events like everywhere like else? And I'm like, does globe like
no,
it's global?
Because it said 3,000. I didn't know. I was just saying to clarify more if it was on the weekend or if it was multiple events.
No, that's what I'm saying. Your question was fine. I'm drilling it on the humorous side. To me, it was like, are there other events? It's like, nope, it's just global at Maple Hill.
What everybody has to know as I wrap that up is that we're all so tight. Nick, me, Ben, Josh. Evan's not here. We're pretty tight. We know really well Julie and the crew there. We know, like, they're like disc golf friends of ours. Like, on the course, like, see them, give them hugs. We love playing together. So all of this coming together just made for really good feeling, and that was a fun interview.
Dude, it's crazy because, like, I mean, you all know them better than I do. I believe I've casually met all of them, or at least some of them for sure. Like, I would know them if I saw them and say hi. But it's pretty awesome, like, what they're doing and what they've done. So, like, kudos and credit to them. Like, that just continues to grow. And their enthusiasm is a big part of it, right? That's contagious. But obviously, they're working hard as well. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. We hope our laughing actually pushed the focus back on so people go back to see what happened. They listen through again. I honestly think it's a great interview.
Yeah.
And
I'm just saying, if you've ever been in a classroom when your buddy's dying laughing, you don't know what, you're going to laugh. And that was me. I didn't know why Matt was laughing, but he was dying. Like something crazy happened. So I started dying too.
And I did not know the laughing was happening. And then the interview goes back to Ben and I'm like, what did he just do?
I look Matt go like,
I literally timestamped it because I was gonna text it to you all later and be like, "What happened here?"
All right. Remember that Evan moment?
Yes.
Like we're gonna.
We haven't had a good. It was fun though because we haven't had a good laughing moment off camera in a while, and that's always fun.
Okay.
Maybe I'm weird, but when I used to only be a listener of this show until I graduated, I used to love the laughing moments. But I knew a lot of you too, so maybe.
Yeah, knowing us.
But hey, everybody, just laugh along, like smile if you're listening to this on a podcast. It's good. It's good for
also,
you. Even if you don't know why this is funny, just smile and laugh.
Yeah. Also, what was it? Oh, one of our listeners, Evan. This is the second time he's got brought up. Watch out, Evan. You keep sending us stuff. We'll spill the dirt on you. But he said he died when you asked Big Germ about the live commentary at Eagles Crossing. He commented. He said, I lost it. He's like, I lost it when Josh served that up.
I just don't remember. We don't need to go down this path. I don't remember hearing Big Germ interviewed about that. He might have been.
No. It was
but like,
awesome.
I just like, that was however far back. And I'm like, I'm going to ask.
It was awesome. So, okay, we have Essa interview. I'm trying to say his full name, and I apologize, Essa, when you listen to this back.
Can she do it? Yes, she can.
And honestly,
Josh's favorite part.
He's waking up in a couple hours. I'm assuming he listens to it on Tuesday morning, and they're literally waking up probably in a couple hours for work. So he's excited. Essa, if you made it to this part, here's your interview. Really excited to have you on the show. Guys, we'll close it out when we come back. We'll only have like five minutes or so to close it out. We hope you enjoyed it to this point. Enjoy the Essa interview. I know I'll either be ashamed or embarrassed to watch it back, but hopefully the answers were interesting. I can listen to that again. So here we go. Chat, take it up. We're going to be here through the interview as well. All right, here we go. All right, welcome to the show, Essa. My understanding is you've actually listened to our show for quite a while. Is that true?
That is true, yeah. Usually when I'm doing those household works and waking up in the morning, I'm like, yes, it's Tuesday in Finland and we got the Staggered stance came up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, and you're about 7 hours ahead of where we record, so we upload it usually around 10 or 10:30 p.m. here, which makes it 5 a.m. there. So when you wake up, it just is there. It's not too old. It's very new. So thank you for listening so much. We appreciate that support all around the world. You are in Finland right now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm in Finland. I'm in Vantaa near Helsinki, which is the capital of Finland.
Okay. And also the Disc Golf Network where you broadcast from, that is also there local to you?
Yeah, that is. I live near Turku, so to the western part of the country, and we have the studio in the center of Helsinki, the Post-Essa studios, and there we record all the action for Disc Golf Network. We have the control room there, and then we have the studio with the commentators.
Okay. It sounds to me like I'm listening to the Disc Golf Network broadcast that I just listened to this weekend, hearing your voice, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners will be familiar with it as well. Can you tell us how you got involved with the Disc Golf Network? I think my understanding is you started with an event maybe back in 2022. Maybe that was like a one-off, like one event, but how did you get involved continuing forward here?
That is true. It was the 2022 Finnish Nationals, and Post-Essa was producing that event to air, and it got some ridiculous amount of streams. It was really great to be in the booth with Mikko Hakulinen, and it was just a great event. Niklas Anttila took down his second national title. Then it came all the way to the last two holes, and yeah, that was a one-off. And then many months went by, and then I heard that actually Disc Golf Network was looking for a commentator from Europe to be involved with the Euro Tour 2023. Then they opened an application form, which I filled, and then I got the honor to be in the booth for the Euro Tour 2023.
Wow, that's fantastic. I think I saw somewhere, I know we've messaged back and forth, so I don't remember where I saw this, but you plan to be a part of every single broadcast in Europe this year, alongside different color commentary, right? So you do the shot call, that you have someone that joins for color commentary, but you will be there for every single one. Is that correct?
That is correct. And also for the Finnish Nationals, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we know that you're calling the shots from Finland there. Do you like the virtual background that you have? I'm assuming it's a green screen. Do you like that? What do you feel about that when you watch it back?
I really enjoy it. I think it gives us a certain feel of like how they do the things in the bigger world, and I think it gives justice for what disc golf really means to those people who do disc golf, who has the disc golf as a hobby or as a job. It really gives the boost disc golf really needs as a, should we say, a marginal sport still.
Hey, it's a good perspective. Maybe we should bring you on for some more hot takes, calling it a marginal sport. Some will react different ways to that, but we love it. You know, you listen to our show. People love the different takes. So you have a very large audience, but also a very large English-speaking audience. And I'm assuming, based off of the accent, that English is not your first language. Is that correct?
It is definitely not. I've spent my childhood watching all those action movies from the United States and all over the world, and I grew up into English really early. I didn't have any double linguistic family, so to speak, but I really love the language, and I've been using it from the third grade when I really started learning it in school.
Okay, and so my follow-up question to that is, does that, you've been speaking since third grade, but does having such a large English audience cause you any more nerves to call these shots, or do you feel very comfortable?
I mean, I'm just totally off nerves. No, I don't have. Yeah, I do have. It's really serious stuff to speak my second language for about 7.5 hours a day, and then expect that all the tens of thousands of people listening to it will accept it, and it gives some nerves, but I try to push them away and just be myself and try to give the sport and the commentary all that I can.
No, that's fantastic. I don't feel any nerves from you when I watch it, and I just wanted to hear inside perspective there, because I could only imagine if I tried to learn to speak another language, which frankly, me as an American citizen in the United States, we only have to learn a language for a couple years in school, and then we don't really use it because English gets spoken almost everywhere now. So I like to think we're not as smart necessarily as the rest of the world, but I'll speak for myself. So you do a fantastic job with that. Do you think, now we're going to get into a little bit of the takes here. Do you think Europe has as many top 20 players as the US, but they just haven't been discovered yet? So take all of the US players and look at the top 20. I mean, just a rough number, right? The best players the US has. And you look at the top 20 in Europe. Do you feel like they compare? And if not, why do you think that's the case? Because we see some great talent come out of Europe.
I think, for my personal perspective, I believe that's due to the structure of the courses. And if you take those 20 best Americans and take them to a traditional Finnish woods disc golf course, I believe that many of the top, then if I take a roughly top 20 Finnish players and those newcomers, if you take them side by side to that Finnish course, I believe most of the Finnish guys will come on top. But then if we go to the States and take those youngsters there and those top 20 players from Finland into the States, we have the traveling, we have all the things that comes with the traveling, all maybe the stress and hesitation that I have to perform now out somewhere else than my home country. Then it becomes another deal. That if we would have a universe where all these players would have grown with the same courses and at the same time, I believe they would match each other pretty well.
I love that. I love that take. Thank you for sharing that. It will be interesting to see. Do you feel like the courses in the US, besides the traveling, maybe jet lag, the stress, do you feel like the courses in the US play larger right now, especially on the tour? Is it just seem like it's so big and different? Is that what you're talking about?
I would say that courses that are played on the US tour are mainly a bit more open than traditional Finnish courses. And then when you take the Northwoods and all the other places with really, really tight gaps and really, really heavy stuff compressed into the foremost disc golf course, then they're like, you have those ends in different ends of the spectrum, so to say.
Yeah, I do know courses vary a lot, and I'm thinking of all the courses that I've seen in the US. I've traveled a fair amount. I have not traveled to see disc golf courses in Europe. Back when I traveled to Europe, I was not really into disc golf. But there are obviously a wide variety of courses in the United States, even based off of regional locations. It changes. Like where I'm from in the East Coast, it's much more wooded, tight, a little bit shorter. But we're seeing the tour itself. It seems to be expanding to, even if it goes to a different region, it seems just to be getting bigger and bigger. So that's an interesting take, and I'm appreciating that you brought that perspective.
Yeah, disc golf is really, I would say disc golf is fairly new in the sports scene in Finland. We had our first ever disc golf competition in 1978. It was actually in Helsinki, and it was a pop-up course in Tali, onto which was later built a permanent course, which I actually played today. Of course, it started as a 9-hole course, but the first ever disc golf course came to Meilahti, Helsinki. It was a pop-up course in 1982, and then a year later, it got the permissions from the city of Helsinki to make it permanent. And it has been quite a small sport here until the 2000s. Actually, Tampere, where we visit this year's European Open, Tampere got its first disc golf course exactly 30 years ago. So that's a nice thing to have on the tour from Finland.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, disc golf worldwide is pretty young, to your point. I think you've mentioned it a few times, and I agree with that. Do you think another European will win the Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe event? So another Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe event. Do you think, and let's talk MPO. I think we could talk FPO too, but the Europeans and the FPO, it's just, they give the US all the players. And I know it's not a continent versus continent or, country versus country, but it just seems that European players right now have really brought their A game in the FPO and the MPO. We're seeing Niklas and others really playing well. But do you think with more US players traveling over now to some of these Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe events, if you had to make a take, do you think another European will take down an MPO Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe event this year? They already did. Do you think they'll do it again?
And we are excluding Niklas from this.
I don't think we need to. I think that's fair game. You can go with Niklas. Do you think he'll win one is maybe the real question, or do you think another?
Well, if we consider the events at the States, I would say that Niklas is pretty famous for waking up a bit later in the season. So it has been a great season for him. He has gotten his A game correctly in the spot in this early season already. So I wouldn't miss his chances or put them down below for winning another one.
Okay, and that's fair, and I think that's awesome. I agree with that. So let's find out a little bit more here about you, and then I have a fun little kind of game activity that will hopefully entertain us all. You learned disc golf how long ago? You mentioned obviously the course being established in 78 or 80 or 82 or whatever it was. Have you been playing for a long time, or how long have you been playing?
Well, actually, my better half introduced me into disc golf about 2018. So roughly exactly 6 years ago. Yeah, it was early summer, and we played a 12-hole course in Kaarina, where actually Seppo Paju visits often and makes those vlogs of his. It's a really, really great course. It has different variety of holes, and I had never heard about disc golf. And for we in Finland, we still call it frisbee golf.
Oh, okay.
And that's one main difference to the States, and it's a big topic of debate on those forums and social media with the Finnish disc golfers, that is it disc golf or is it frisbee golf? How should we call this thing? We don't know. We have to get angry and decide this thing once for all. It's really crazy to follow. But yeah, 2018 I was introduced, and from then it was kind of headfirst into the pond. I really just forgot myself into the sport. It was really crazy, and got to see those different courses, and really a great friend of mine from then just started to give me those tips and tricks how to get better. And I've been an enthusiastic since.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to kind of follow up that, but you just told me you had to study the game enough to be able to talk about it with some level of understanding, right? And so you do a fantastic job with that. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Again, it's 12:30, a little after 12:30 in the morning for you. You're about 7 hours ahead of us. You are a freelance musician. I think in your bio it says that. Were you just out doing a music gig, or what was going on tonight?
Well, actually, we had a rehearsal earlier this evening with our band called Timo Brass Band. We play pop and rock and funk cover songs we have 7 horns, including 2 trumpets, 1 trombone, 1 sousaphone, and 3 saxophones. We play those cover songs. And it's like a body combat hour for us. We just jump all over the place. We have those sporting gear on and we play from the memory and try to entertain ourselves and the audience. We have a free gig tomorrow in Helsinki and we had a rehearsal today. And then we had a jam session with old friends in a bar in Helsinki. So that's where I was visiting before this show.
Wow. So what instrument do you play?
I play the trombone.
Trombone. This music sounds epic to me. Tell us the name again and maybe say it a little slower so our American friends can look it up and support you there. What's the name of the band?
So it's the name T-I-M-O. Timo in Finnish.
Timo.
Or Timo in American.
That was pretty good. Timo. So,
Timo Brass Band.
Brass band. Like as in like brass. We would say brass maybe? No?
Brass band.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if they look that up, can they find that on YouTube, Spotify, or other places? Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
We have a 5-song EP in Spotify and we have music videos and all in YouTube.
Okay. Well, I hope our listeners go and support that. That's epic and awesome of you. It sounds amazing. In fact, I'll check it out later. All right. Here's a fun little, maybe a fun game. We just got into the pronunciation of your band. And before we even started this whole interview, I was asking how to pronounce your name, and I think I got it. Esa-Pekka Tupala, but I'm saying it very slowly. So can you say your full name for us?
It's Esa-Pekka Tupala.
Okay. And your short nickname is like Epa?
EP.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I write it in Finnish, it's like 2 E's, a P, and 2 E's again. So EP.
Okay. So here's the fun game. I picked 3 FPO players, touring players, and I picked 3 MPO touring players. And I'm just wanting you to pronounce it for us. And it should be pretty simple for you, but for some reason we struggle over here. So how would you pronounce the name on screen?
This is not such a familiar name for me. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah. So Kristin Tattar.
Okay. So say it one more time for our listeners, and then I'll try to repeat it.
Kristin Tattar.
Okay, here we go. Kristin Tattar. Pretty good?
Getting closer.
Closer. Every time I try, people are like, that's pretty close. And I'm like, I don't know what else to do. So over here, I feel like a lot of us are trying to figure out how to put the emphasis on the last part of her, or the first part of her last name. So the T-A. And a lot of us were saying Tatar. That's how we were saying it, Tatar, for years. And now we're trying to shift, and it sounds like you're saying it correct here, of course. But I think, and I'm going to move the name down so it's not over your face. And it's closer to Tatar, right?
Yeah. And something that is really, I think, key point in English language, that if I look it from European perspective, if you say the K or T or another consonant, it seems to us, or I hear it like you combine it with H. So there would be Kristin. There is the H sound there.
That's what you hear.
And that's what I hear.
Okay.
So I hear that you would put an H between the K
Kristin.
and the
Yeah.
R.
Okay. Kristin. I can hear that now.
So if you can take the H away when you pronounce consonants in European names, that's a huge deal. So it's Kristin. That's it. Just a really short consonant without the
Kristin. Tatar.
Yeah. Kristin. Yeah.
Okay.
And the R is one of the most peculiar consonants in Finnish. It's I wrote a small document for the other commentators if they wish to.
Is this the one that you provided us as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I provided that to Evan because Evan does a lot of the names in his recap. So thank you for that. So this amazing document. And your document, tell us about it. You just kind of break down some tips and tricks, right?
Yeah, I try to make it as packed as possible, and the couple of consonants there, and then I give examples from the vowels how to take them into Finnish. And I think I can speak on behalf of every Finn that watches all these shows, and especially your show. You do your very best, and we really appreciate it. And for we don't have like hundreds of pro disc golfers or pro sports athletes in our sport. That makes it a bit easier, maybe not to have to learn hundreds of names. And it's great to hear that everybody in the internet really gives their best for this topic.
I appreciate that. I think it's become more prevalent now, which is awesome because more Europeans, whether it's good or bad, but more Europeans have been coming to the US and it's been making it into the scene. And now the disc golf pro tour is moving, Europe more established. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to put the next name on screen here. Now, this one, I would say it this way. Well, not that I need to change the way I have to change the way I say it, but when we read this, we read it Heidi Lane. Okay, that's how it looks phonetically. I've learned since I would say Heidi Line, but I want to hear you say it.
Heidi Line.
Oh man, I can hear the emphasis and it's going to kill me. I got to learn how to say all those names.
Practically, you're just fine. And something that comes in English that if the word ends with E, you take the A letter in the end. So you just get rid of that. Not line, but line.
Oh, the N has, okay, line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Heidi Line.
Yeah.
You say it one more time for our audience.
Heidi Line.
Heidi Line. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I hear the accent. That's wonderful.
You can have a pause between the names, or you don't have to. It's fine. When I do the commentary, it's just like Heidi Line through her second shot.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right.
So I'm just trying to emphasize a bit too much here.
Okay. No, that's fair. Okay, that's good. So here's one more. Now this one, I have tried, and I have actually spoken to her, and I have said, "Am I saying your name correct?" And just like you, she said, "Pretty close." But I just can't nail it. So go ahead and read this name for our audience.
I really have a disclaimer. I should also check my point of view for this. For how I would say just now, it would be Lykke Lorentzen.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, that's how it sounds like what she tells me it's supposed to be. But the Lykke.
Yeah, and usually if we Finns pronounce a name with TZ combination, we kind of give a longer emphasis to the vowel that comes after. So it will be Lorentzen. But I don't know if that's correct at all.
Okay, that's fair. But
I've been doing Lykke Lorentzen.
Lykke Lorentzen. Okay.
Yeah. U is a really tough vowel and sound in English because you practically don't have it. It's like the UE in Tuesday. That's the sound. So Lykke.
Yeah, that's good. See, I think our listening audience will appreciate this because we're all going to do better. Okay, so here's another one. We're moving into MPO now. On screen, would you mind reading this name off? And then I'll say how it's spelled, but we'll let you read it off.
This name is Joona Heinänen.
So here's how it's spelled for our listening, our English-speaking primary language audience. Either way, Joona. Now, phonetically, I want to say Juna, like phonetically. And then the last name, I would just, Heinänen is what I would say. But can you say the first part of that name again, the first name?
Joona. Yeah. So O is like like if you had OH, O. So just the first part of that O is our O.
Okay. Joona.
Yeah, Joona. And always when you have double vowel, like similar to same vowels smashed up, it's just a longer one. So you just hang on a little bit more on the double vowel. So it's Joona.
Joona. Okay, I got you. I'll try. I'm gonna have to listen to this back a few times. Here's another one for you. All right, go ahead and read this one.
This one is Jesse Nieminen.
Now, this was the winner this weekend of the Copenhagen Open. And
that is true.
And the way that we would say this, and I heard my kids talking about it, and I'm not making fun of my kids because I did the same thing as everybody else, but we just say Jessi Nieminen. Now that sounds very American English, Jessi Nieminen. Mm-hmm. So it's spelled again English. It looks like it's spelled Jesse or Jess to English, Jesse. The Nieminen, I'll leave that for what it is. But say it one more time for me.
Jesse Nieminen.
Okay, Jesse. Okay, Nieminen.
And again, if you say it with American English, it's Jesse, just like you.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can see there that we have two same vowels in the word, but you somehow changed the vocality of the last vowel, and we're just so confused. Why are you doing this to yourself? Use the same tone for the same vowel every time. It would be much more simple. But no, you just decided this is the way we're going to do it. And we Finns didn't take it.
I love it. In fact, I appreciate any razzing you give to American English. There's questions that I have about American English as well. Okay, last one here. We'll put it up on screen. I feel like it's even you find this entertaining. So there's a lot going on here. I will try my best before you say it. And I think I do okay with it, but I don't know. We'll see. I've heard it a few times. Here we go. Tuomas oh boy, I didn't practice the last part. I'm just gonna say it Haitanen, like Nieminen, Haitanen. Maybe that's close. Tuomas Haitanen. But give me how it's supposed to be.
And before this one, I'm gonna say that it was same with the Joona Heinänen's name. There is the A in the middle of their last name, and you're missing the spots on top of the A because you don't have A in your keyboard.
That's right. You're correct. The little emphasis or accent signs, I did not add those. That's true.
Yeah. So A in Finnish is A, just like a car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's A, and then when you have two dots on top of the A, it's A.
Okay.
So it's really a simple movement in your mouth that you do with your tongue. So it's A or A. So this name would be Tuomas Hyytiäinen. The middle part is giving you bumps. I know. We have the I.
Say that. Okay, say it one more time. I'm gonna try it.
Tuomas Hyytiäinen.
Hyytiäinen.
Almost, yeah.
Tuomas.
That's it.
Oh, this is epic. This is fun. I don't want to, mess with our listeners' ears too much here. That is fantastic. I think people will really enjoy that. You should make that document public for the whole disc golf world. Maybe they'll check it out and learn how to say these names as well.
I think I would. And I'm going to throw the ball back to you. So give me a couple of names from the American side, those top players, couple of them, and I will pronounce them like I would in Finnish, if they were Finnish names. So, for example, I can start with Paige Pierce. That is really interesting because that changes quite a lot. So Paige Pierce would be Paige Pierce.
This is awesome. Yeah, okay. Here's another one. You ready for this one?
This is gonna be so epic. Oh my gosh. This is huge. So Jake Hebenheimer.
Jake Hebenheimer, yep. How would you say that?
Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Do you have your popcorns and your soda and everything ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Jake Hebenheimer.
Hebenheimer. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I don't know how this one translates.
How do you find these names? You're really good at this game. Yeah. So this is Mason Marchbanks, I presume.
Yes.
So that would be Mason Marchbanks.
Okay. It sounds like an accent, which is the language that you're speaking is translating perfectly. Here we go. Another one.
Yeah, this is I'm really wondering even what would be it may be Zach Arlinghaus.
Okay, yep. Zach Arlinghaus is how we would say it, Zach Arlinghaus, and that's the same way?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. One more.
Yeah. So Robert Burridge, there is a big shift in the last name, so this would be Robert Burridge.
Okay, I got you. Okay,
yeah.
This one. Now, this is a very unique name, even in America. We struggle with this, and I've asked directly from the individual themselves how to say this. And I've gotten close, I think. I've talked to the mom, I've talked to the daughter. Here it is.
Yeah. This doesn't change as much as the other ones. So Eliezra Midling, I'm answering it correctly.
Okay, so now what I will give you as my best understanding is we have all been saying Eliezra, okay?
Yeah.
My understanding is that's not correct, but they haven't fully corrected it. The mom says, hey, we'll just let it go. Let them just say it. Is my understanding. And if you're listening, mom and daughter, we love it. We love it. But my understanding is it's Eliezra. It's got more of the emphasis on the end, so it's Eliezra. But anyways.
Eliezra Midling.
Yeah, so there you go. But does this change for your accent?
So the Z is such a rarity in Finnish that I believe every Finn would pronounce it how they will, so to say. So I would say Eliezra Midlung.
Okay, and then one more.
But it could be Eliezra.
Okay.
So like TS, Eliezra Midlung.
Okay. That's a tough one. I felt like for a little bit I had to just say Eliezra. But anyways, I'm struggling with even these American names. Last one. Here we go.
Yeah, Vanessa Van Dyken.
Yes.
So this would be Vanessa Van Dyken.
The Y. That's right. I heard that now a few times. The Y is more of a U.
Yeah. It's U, just U, and all the vowels in Finnish never change their tonality. It's always the same.
Okay. Wow. That turned into a lot more of a segment than I thought it would, but I think it was entertaining to say the least. I made a fool of myself, and I'm hoping that those listening are trying as they, maybe they're mowing their lawn or they're driving their car. They can try to say these names themselves, but they don't have the benefit of you correcting them. So we're looking forward to a lot more events in Europe there. It's really late for you right now. The next event coming up in Europe on my list is Turku. Okay, and that's happening. Turku. Say it again. June 14 to 16. So, okay, it's coming up about a month from now. We're excited to check that out. Any big changes coming for the booth or a color commentary surprise or anything that you want to let us know, or is it all a secret?
As I've heard, Teemu Nissinen will be with me in the booth for Turku Open, and the course is actually practically my home course. I play that weekly when I'm back home. I really love the place. The layout is gonna be a bit new. It's not the same that's permanently there, but it's gonna be great, and they have all the things settling up there as we speak. So it's gonna be a great event there.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited that you joined us. It's extremely early or late at night or early in the morning, however you want to look at it. We appreciate it. Maybe we'll try to line something up for future events, and you can tell us how it went there again. We're super proud and privileged to have listeners all over the world, including yourself. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great evening.
Thank you, and thanks for this opportunity. I really love to hear your thoughts about the tour and keep on doing the same things that you've been doing so far. So thank you for the spot in your show.
Don't be too sad when I try to say names and I don't get them correct going forward. Just be like, oh, Matt, I taught you better.
On the contrary, man, I'm just so delighted. And once again, thank you for trying your very best. It really means a lot to us.
All right. Have a great evening. Sleep well, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right.
Badass.
This is back to live. I'll let you guys fill in what you thought. Not full recap, but then we'll close it out. So what'd you think, Nick?
It was great. It was hilarious. He's got an awesome voice, so I enjoy just kind of listening to him to talk and then commentary at the same time. He's very, as Josh has done it a couple times, he's very kind of energetic and, gets into the conversation. And obviously pronouncing names, I'm blown away by how bad I am at pronouncing European names, and we'll hopefully get somewhat better at it.
Yeah, I learned again Turuku. So
yeah,
we're gonna try our
like
best.
The ooh sound,
Oh, good times. That was pre-recorded. If you didn't realize, we're back live now. So
yeah, no, that was awesome. It was great. I thought they did a great job on the coverage. It's fun to get some different variety, some international variety. Like all of that stuff is great. And yeah, like, and he obviously seems professional and fun. And I think, talking about the language stuff, not that we need to dive into it, but it's also a challenge because, as he acknowledged, a lot of the sounds actually are not sounds that we're like prepared to like make without practice. So it's not just like learning how to read it phonetically. It's like, that's not like a sound that I would normally ever make.
You don't even have it on your keyboard, he says. Right. But the Kristen one got me. Because even just saying it now, like if I say American, Kristen, he says there's an H sound that they hear.
I know, that's funny, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Kristen, Tatar. So anyways, very interesting because names are people's names. Like you say it differently, it's not really their name. Like you might know they're talking to you, but it's not like what you were called by growing up. It's like if someone called me Mateo instead of Matt, I would get it. It's Spanish for Matt, but like it's not what I'm familiar with. So it's interesting. The full conversation, I might re-listen to it again to figure out some of these names. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And he did mention his band. You got to go check that out. Let us know. Yeah. He's got the 5-song EP, Brass Band.
Yeah.
Or as they say, Bros or something, Bros or like whatever.
Bros. Yeah.
Other than that, we've made it to the end of the show, jam-packed with mainly interviews tonight. We're appreciative of everyone who listens in every week. We love when you reach out to us and give your insights and feedback. And I'll go as far as to say we even like it if you actually share a perspective about why you think something could have been better. That's fair too. Just know that there's probably 2,000 other perspectives different than yours. Everyone has a perspective, but we like all perspectives. So share it with us, and we appreciate that. Anything we missed to wrap up with before we go? That's like pressing. OTB Open coming up. Enjoy that.
OTB
what else?
Open. Yeah, live disc golf. That's about it. For any Floridians that are near where I'm at now, down in Florida, Olympus has been going through a rezoning process, and today was our first big official meeting. So far, we are approved, and now we have to wait another 30-ish days before we can actually open back up to the public. So it's a whole long story that really goes into it, but for anyone that is planning to ever purchase property and has to do rezoning on it, it's not very fun.
Ooh.
So, anywho, thank you everybody so much for tuning in on this wonderful Monday night to episode 189. Thank you to Disc Golf 978 and Hooligan Discs for hooking us up with being able to do the show for you guys. Check out the Pop, Drop, and Lock. Go get your picks in before 7 a.m. before the event. Is this an Elite Series or
Interruption?
Elite Plus?
Yeah, I think it's a regular event. But I wanted to say real quick, for the people that wanted to see their points and their placement without having to scroll through 500 people, you can do that. I think I might have mentioned that last week, but it's at the top of the leaderboard now. When you go to the leaderboard page, it will literally say, here's how many points you got and here's what your place is. That's a huge, just like quality of life upgrade. Yeah. If you've been taking breaks on it and you made it to this point in the show, get back in on the picks. Maybe you'll win it this week.
Get back in, popdroplock.com. Thank you to Shrek for helping us out with all that and the website side of things as well. Thank you to the crew. Another wonderful Monday night. Tell someone you love them this week. We'll catch you in the next one.
That's right. Ben, you're awesome. Nick, you're awesome. Josh, you're awesome. And Evan's not here. Hope he's enjoying. Till next time, everybody. We'll catch you out there. Peace out.